Hello, beautiful butterflies. How are you guys? I hope you had a good week. I'll wait for a couple of you to come on today. Today, we're going to talk about in this video or this live about gray hair and how it's different from pigmented hair. And I will say that a lot of these facts that I received are from the amazing Green Beauty channel, where she breaks down the science of gray hair. I have a playlist that has my favorite videos from her channel that you guys can check out. But I have a lot of people asking me questions about thinning gray hair, um, about the density of their hair, how to get more volume, why their hair is so dry. And I wanted to just mention some amazing facts that I got from her channel that can be able to help you guys when it comes to your gray hair. And I also have some videos coming up to show in demo form how I'm able to take care of my gray hair, to give it moisture, to give it volume. And so everybody is different and unique with their gray hair. Not everybody, even before I had gray hair, some things happen because our hair is gray, and then other things just happen because, like, even when my hair wasn't gray, my hair was on the finer side or on the thinner side and lower density than, say, my sister. So I can't say that every change that we have or the quality of our hair is always due to gray, but going gray can affect the quality of our hair. So besides these lessons that I learned about my gray hair, letting you guys know the differences between the gray and the pigmented, I also want you to understand that similar to when you're natural and you can find that you have different textures in your hair, like one side that's a little bit tighter than the other side, even with your gray hair, you're going to have to take care of that in a different way than you do for your pigmented hair. And whoever sees this on the replay, please let me know, what changes have you found since you've gone gray with your gray hair? A lot of people ask me if my texture has changed. Do you find that your texture's changed, that you need to use different products with your gray hair than you did with your pigmented hair? And also, are you high porosity, low porosity? When I first went natural, the big thing was hair typing. 3A, 4A, all of that. I find what I stick to, I don't stick to that so much because I find that I do have different textures around my whole head. But what I do find to be a better indicator of how our hair is the porosity of it. Because all those things can affect how products work in your hair. If you guys saw the video that I put out on Monday of all the products that I'm using for my gray natural hair, you'll see that you might try them and it might give you a different result because your hair could be a different porosity or a different density. And when I went on YouTube, I'm seeing now that there are another beautiful niche that I fit into. Those of us who have fine natural hair, those of us who have gray fine hair or gray thin hair. Um, I did a video that talked about how you want to be careful to not compare your hair to other people's hair. When you go on YouTube, you see all these amazing people with this full, luscious, voluminous hair, and you could sometimes look at your hair and be like, well, what's wrong with mine? Why can't I get it to do that? And what I'm realizing is it's about loving what your hair is, accepting what your hair does and how it is, and then learning to work with that. So I didn't write down the names. I'm going to see if I could put that in the comments later, of some fine haired naturals on here. I think one of them is Jamoki is her page. And then another one, her name escapes me right now, but I thought that it was important to put something out there for those of us in the gray hair community, as well as being natural, who have finer hair, lower density hair, high porosity hair, and mention some things about that. So I have my notes on my phone, so that's why you're going to see me looking down. But what I thought was interesting is many who are going gray tell me that their hair is thinner and they're dealing with thin hair. Maybe their hair used to be thicker and now it's thinner. And Green Beauty had mentioned that the cuticle layer of gray hair is thinner. And so because of that, automatically that makes it more porous. So I don't necessarily think that if your hair is gray that it's automatically high porosity, but it is more porous than your pigmented hair for sure. And it makes sense because of the fact that, like she said, the cuticle layer is thinner. And I said in my other video that I didn't notice much of a texture change with my hair, especially when I leave it in a wash and go, because it behaves better when it's in a wash and go than any other style. But there actually is a change in texture with my gray hair than my pigmented hair. And that's because of the loss of melanin. Melanin is so important to our hair. And it, like I said, just because our hair is gray and it's different than others, it being thinner, does not mean that it can't be healthy. So the loss of melanin in our hair, melanin also provides sebum or oil to our hair. And just in general, when you're natural, because of the fact that our hair is coilier and it's not just straight, it has a hard time getting oil. So that makes it a little bit drier than other textures. So the loss of melanin causes low sebum to our hair. So if you're gray and you're natural, that can be another reason why you're dealing with dryness. So I'm mentioning all these things too, so that you guys realize that you're not alone. You're not imagining things. It is, there are more special needs with the gray hair than there is with the pigmented hair. And then this was something that was interesting to me about gray hair, that it is the innermost layer of the gray hair is called a medulla. And that is like the marrow of the hair. And so when that is missing in our gray hair, so it leaves an air bubble. And because of that, that is why our gray hair is more fragile. And I was like, look at that. You know, you deal with your hair, it goes gray. You're saying, okay, I'm going to let it go gray. But then you realize, wait, why isn't it behaving like I'm used to? And these are some hard facts as to why that is. So the fact that that inner marrow, that medulla, is missing in our innermost layer of our hair, that makes it more fragile, more prone to breaking, more prone to drying. And it makes it thinner too. So if you're noticing thinning hair, dry hair with your gray hair, those are the reasons. The fact that the melanin causes a lower amount of sebum or oil going to our hair, as well as the fact that the cuticle layer is thinner, it's more porous. So there's moisture coming in, but it's going out as fast as it's coming in. And then we have the issue of the innermost layer missing. So all those things make it we have to be a little bit more creative as to how we take care of that gray hair. So it needs more moisture, it needs more attention, it needs us to be more delicate with it, kind of treat it like fine china instead of your dollar store utensils and things like that. So I just want to make sure that can someone give a thumbs up to let me know that this is, sorry about that. I don't know if you heard that. I'm supposed to put my phone on do not disturb. I just want to make sure that it is live. Oh, Hello, everybody. Okay. Hi, Portia. How are you? I miss your beautiful face. How are you? And 101 Candlelight, what is your name? Thank you guys for coming on here. I just wanted to make sure, not to say that I wouldn't come on here even if there wasn't anybody on live, but I'm usually used to at least one person coming on. So I was like, let me make sure that my live is working properly. What's your name, 101 Candlelight? Yes, that's why your hair behaves the way you do. And because of the Green Beauty channel, I realized that there's science to these things. I appreciate the research that she goes through to help us to understand our hair. And I mean, she has so many videos on the power of melanin, the melaninocytes, I think it's called. Oh, I miss you, Portia. I'm so glad. How are you doing? You said you're doing good. It's just one of those, like a long lost friend. It's so good to see you here. How's your gray hair journey going? Are you fully transitioned, Portia? I forget. I know you were sharing pictures, but hi there, Apple of Yahweh. What's your name? Today I'm talking about how different our gray hair is from our pigmented hair. And if you're not fully gray all over, then you'll understand that. We all have a mixture of the gray hair as well as the pigmented hair. Portia or anybody who just came on, do you guys notice? Well, Candlelight, you definitely said that's why your hair behaves the way it does. It also mentioned in my notes that because of that air bubble or that missing marrow, that could also explain why our hair has a looser curl pattern. If you're a curly and you're silver or gray, that could be another reason why your hair pattern is the way that it is. So I was just like, wow, that makes so much sense. But again, for me, I have found that my hair behaves best when it is in a wash and go state. So when I try and do stretch styles, I find more frizz. And this is why a lot of people say that gray hair has a mind of its own. It does. It's so different. And because of that, if you find that the back of your hair is more pigmented than the front, then you might find that you're going to need to use different products with different parts of your hair. And Green Beauty also mentions on one of her videos about porosity of hair that's another reason why. Can you guys hear me okay too? I see the green going here that you can hear me, but I just want to make sure that that's coming in well. If I didn't change anything, sound is important on YouTube. I know a lot of people will let me know real quick when the sound isn't doing well. So it is my goal to make sure that you hear this information. But back to what I was saying about the difference. Sandra, how are you? I have a couple of Sandras on here, so that's why I said it like that. I was like, wait, or did you change your Hi Bridget, how are you? Sandra, did you change your profile pic? I don't remember that. I might have more than one Sandra on here, but thank you for coming on, Sandra. What do you find about your gray hair that you were able to understand today, why it acts the way that it does? I'm glad you're doing wonderful, Bridget. Today I'm talking about the difference. Remind me, Bridget, how long you're into your gray hair journey. 3 months, you said? Which is so awesome. Got to give yourself a round of applause for making it to that point. Sandra from Barbados. Okay, well, thank you for coming from there. How are you on a gray hair journey? Are you already fully gray, Sandra or Sandra? So, Bridget, do you find with just your 3 months of growth that gray hair is a lot different than your pigmented hair? That's what we're talking about today. The difference between our gray hair and our pigmented hair and being able to respond to those needs. And one of the things that I've learned from both my hair journeys, being natural and being gray, is you have to work with what you have. If you and I mentioned this in my other video about my hair products, you can look at somebody here on YouTube who has hair that looks like it could be similar to yours, but it's still a lot of trial and error. You have to look and see if it will work for you. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You said looser curls and grows faster. I'm not sure, Bridget, if you said that you also watch the Green Beauty channel, because she was mentioning the reason for the loose curls is because of the innermost layer of our hair strand missing. And so that sometimes can cause our gray hair to be looser. Sandra, you're not fully gray, nothing in the back, but can't wait. Okay, cool. So then you said it explains why your hair behaves the way it does. How is your gray behaving that you were able to get some understanding on? For me, I guess I could say that my white hair is looser than my pigmented hair. But I have a mixture. I have like a white streak, I have some patches, and then I'm having a lot of salt and pepper. Yes, Green Beauty has a lot of scientific facts just helping us to understand our hair better. And I didn't understand the whole porosity thing. You know, some people would take their hair and put it in some water and see what it does. But when she explained high porosity to me, it made so much sense as to how our gray hair could be that way, considering the fact that the cuticle layer is thinner. And then that could explain too maybe why we get much more frizz than maybe our pigmented hair. Do you guys deal with frizz with your gray hair? Portia, you're fully transitioned. You tried a purple temporary color for fun. Okay. Oh, but it's holding on pretty tight. It does, right? Okay, good. So Portia, did you find, what was the biggest um difference that you found between your gray hair and your pigmented hair? Are you curly? Is your hair naturally curly at all or wavy? I've seen it straight on IG, but I'm noticing too that a lot of women are maybe starting off with the gray, and then that's encouraging them to also embrace the texture of their hair, which might be wavy or curly. Um, and some of you are on a gray hair journey and a natural hair journey, which is not easy. That's two big changes happening at the same time. Do you guys notice a thinning of your hair now that it's gray? Hello. Okay. Do you have a nickname? Because that's a long name and I do not want to mess it up. Thank you so much for joining my live today. Sandra, you said your curl pattern has changed. You have a lot of single strands and frizz. And that can be hard, especially if your hair is naturally curly and you have like these natural curls and then there's the straight pieces. I find people might have more of that issue too when they have the salt and pepper coming in. Zion, okay, thank you. How are you? Are you on a gray hair journey, Zion? Today I'm talking about the difference between gray hair and pigmented hair, and that can help us to understand why our gray hair can be drier, thinner, and have a mind of its own. But I also mentioned in my last live the importance of self-love on your gray hair journey. You said, yes, you are, and you're loving it. Awesome. How far into your hair journey are you? Self-love is important on your gray hair journey. And a part of love is acceptance and patience. And so, especially if you're just starting your gray hair journey, you need to be patient as you learn this new hair. If it's different than what it was before, sometimes we have a lot of frustration, and it's understandable why we're frustrated with our hair, but it's different than our pigmented hair. And so the more we learn, the more we know, the more we can be patient as we're getting to know this new normal. 2 years. Okay, so are you growing it out or did you chop your hair? Hi, Star. How are you? You said that's right. And so patience is necessary because you're learning your new hair. And then also what's necessary is acceptance. I had to learn this on my natural hair journey, and I'm learning it on my gray hair journey. Um, your hair is not going to look like everybody else's. There's nothing wrong with admiring those with voluminous hair or longer hair, or the curl pattern or structure that we would like, but we have to accept where we're at. Oh, thank you, Bridget. By the way, Bridget, are you doing the self-love challenge this month? I started it on my Instagram. For anybody who watches this after, if you follow me on Instagram at the same handle, Naturally Graceful, in my stories, I am practicing the mirror exercise from Lisa Nichols. You guys are helping me to stay accountable. And I feel like when we work on those inner things, because so many have told me that this journey is way more than hair for them, and that they're working on accepting themselves, showing more kindness to themselves, compassion. And so it's my goal to do that for myself. And then you could get some support on there as well. Portia, your hair is naturally wavy. Not all or some of your grays are wiry, especially at the nape of your neck, right now near your ears. Thinning is an issue, but I think thinning was from the dye. That's a good point that you mentioned, Portia, because in the video that I saw from Green Beauty, she also mentioned that if our hair is thinner, drier, just by nature, and then we're coloring it, she said it can further damage the hair. So I think another thing that can be hard for us to accept while we're growing out our gray hair is that we're also dealing with some damage that came from the dye. And it will take some time for the hair to get back to health. Let me know if you guys agree with that. Bridget, you said not yet. Okay, no worries. Come on when you're ready. Marjorie, how are you? Yay! And you're from Europe, right, Marjorie? What time is it by you? You're fully gray now and you're loving it. That's awesome. Marjorie, did you find, what's the biggest difference that you find or have found from your pigmented hair to your now gray hair? Sandra, you said you love your gray hair and you're also natural. Me too, Sandra. You're not alone. I could not see myself going back to relaxer or hair color. That's not to say that I don't have moments where I want to switch it up. But what's like, there are even times that I want to go straight and see how long my hair is. Because you guys know when you're natural, the shrinkage is beyond real. I just washed my hair, so I'm like, let me see if I could give you like a little glimpse of just what the shrinkage, and that's just the back. Yesterday when I was doing my hair and my hair is short, I was able to get a low ponytail, which is like bananas to me. But if I straighten my hair, I sweat a lot in my scalp. So it will be poofy like before the end of the night. And I'm just wondering if I want to put my hair through that stress just for it not to last that long. So I think I want to wait for colder weather. And also, if I did it maybe for like a special occasion where I would just wear it like that once. Thank you for those who are liking and your support. And for those of you who don't know, I also have a website called naturallygraceful.com. And I have a newsletter that goes out weekly where I just share some encouragement, some inspiration, things to encourage you to show yourself love and compassion. So if you'd like, I'll have a link in the description after this that you guys could sign up if you want. So for those, Marjorie, I'm not sure if you're still on. Have you seen, what was the biggest difference you've seen from your gray and your pigmented hair? And this is another thing too that's interesting. There's our pigmented hair, and then there's also our colored hair. If your hair is colored, then that's not really like your virgin hair. So I think also patience comes in as your hair gets to better health and you grow out the dyed hair, not just with your gray hair, but your virgin hair that doesn't have any dye on it. Dye is nice. It's a nice way to to have a nice change, but at the same time, it does affect the health of our hair. And I still have yet to watch Green Beauty's series that she did on hair color, because that's actually another awesome benefit and gift from stopping the dye. There are many who told me that they have had allergic reactions to dye when they use it, or they want to reduce the amount of toxins that are in their scalp, and so feeling freedom from not having to dye their hair has also helped them help their health. I don't know if you guys experienced that same thing. I remember before I went gray, I was using henna because I wanted to use something less toxic to color my hair. And henna was like a nice twofold. It was a dye and it could also strengthen my hair. But I just didn't like the way the gray hair came out. It was like fire engine red. I did use the black, but then I was having Grownberry every month when you think about it. Like, at least I went through it once and for all, and my hair is gray and, some still dark. But when I was trying to color my roots, I was going through that Grownberry anyway with the henna. Did you guys find that when you were coloring your hair that it would take really well? Who's still on here with me? Are you still here, Star? I thank you to all of you who did join so far. I have about 10 more minutes. So if you guys have any questions for me, please feel free to ask now. And then those of you who see this on the replay, please feel free in the comments to let me know if you are on a gray hair journey and what you found, how you be different than your pigmented hair. How you doing, Star? Do you find that what's the difference that you found in your gray hair and your, I guess, colored hair? And for those of you who are thinning, another thing I will say that I noticed, right? Because a lot of people talk about thinning edges. And I don't know if you guys have heard of traction alopecia. And, if you wore weaves or braids. Hi, Happiness Smiles. What's your name? I'm Nina. Thanks for joining. Are you on a gray hair journey? I found with my edges, getting relaxer and coloring my roots so frequently did lots of damage to my edges. Let me know if that was the same for you guys. And so now that my hair is gray, I will say it's also because I have this tapered cut that helps. But when I first went really low, like I had to deal with the balding edges. Sandra, you're still here. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm learning from you guys too. No different, Star? Okay. Yes, Bridget, you noticed that with your edges? And somebody was telling me recently that they were dealing with the fact that their edges were so thin and then they were gray, so you could see the balding more. And that was hard for them. And I remember right before I went gray, I used something called Topics. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. It's like a powder or a fiber that you could spray onto your scalp. And I would use that on my edges because, especially after I had my son with postpartum shedding, that was like a big thing. So that can be a difference. I will say the fact that my hair is cut low helps. Maybe if my hair was longer, I'd see the holes in my edges a little bit more. But for those of you who are watching this and who are dealing with thinning and balding, I'm not going to sit here and say you're going to be like, yay, I love the fact that my hair is thin and balding. But this is where the self-love, I feel, comes in that acceptance. You do the best you can to find out what you can do to make your thinner hair look a little bit thicker, be creative with hairstyles. But at the end of the day, I always want to encourage you and inspire you to just accept where you're and inspire you to just accept where you're at, with your hair. the density of it, the porosity of it, all of that, and to know that you're more than your hair and to work on our hair, if that makes sense. Stacy, nice to meet you. You're on a gray hair journey. You last colored in September. That's awesome. How's it going for you so far? Portia, you said massaging the scalp with castor oil can help with thinning. I have, especially Jamaican black castor oil, or any castor oil, but I've specifically heard of Jamaican black castor oil. I've heard of something called dry needling. I was thinking about trying it, but there's some research that you need to do into that and making sure you get the proper one to be able to help grow your edges back. Massage is very important, you know, whether your hair is thinning or not. Bringing that blood flow to the scalp, helping bring the nutrients, that helps with the sebum, you know, bring oil to our hair. So scalp massage is important in general. So that might be definitely a tip for those who are experiencing thinning and balding. Ayurvedic herbs are also very good. I told you guys in my last video, a company that I'm using, Char Naturals, she has a lot of herbs in there. Green Beauty also has a hot oil. I haven't tried it yet. That has a lot of herbs. And obviously those herbs can help feed the scalp. And if you massage it, keeping the scalp clean is important too, because in order for you to take in all that goodness, you need to make sure that your scalp is clean. I think I remember seeing something the other day that said you'd be surprised that the bacteria in a dirty scalp can cause hair loss. So making sure our scalp is clean. Sometimes the medications that we could be taking could affect our hair. So keep that in mind too. So there are things that are practical that we can do to help our hair. But like I said, guys, at the end of the day, when that can't be changed, then that's where the self-love can kick in, and accepting where you're at with the way your hair is. Marjorie, you said you find your hair is much healthier. That's a good change. That's a good change. And Adelina, who I interviewed a while ago, mentioned the same thing. Her hair, her colored hair was like so brittle and dry, but now it's so healthy and thick. So again, just because of the things that I mentioned about gray hair doesn't mean that you can't have thick, healthy gray hair. But if you're having thinning, that could help you to understand why. Marjorie, it's 8 in the evening in Europe. Nice. Stacy, does anyone combat frizzy gray hair? I do. I do, but only when I do a stretched out style. Do you find that all the time, Stacy? Are you also natural? Marjorie, you said your pigmented hair was very thin. Mine too. So again, a lot of the things that I'm saying are relative. So there are some people who have thick gray hair. My mom is one of them. If you look on my Instagram, I think it was this week or last week, I put a picture of my mom's hair and I'm just like, sometimes I look at my mom's hair and I'm like, why did I not get that gene? I have thinner hair in general. Excuse me, guys. Your hubby and you are on the gray hair journey? How awesome is that? Did your husband dye his hair, Bridget, before, or it's just coming in and he's not dyeing it? It's funny because if I think about it, my husband never dyed his hair and we would just see salt and pepper coming in and his hair was like a dark sandy brown and now it's like this ash brown. It's very interesting how the hair starts to fade. You're 52 and 59. Okay. And Zion, no, that's not Zion. I'm not sure of your name, Apple of Yahweh, but you said hair vitamins. Thank you for that point too. What's that vitamin in the hair vitamins that's really good? I can't think of it right now. It's a specific biotin. So that might be helpful also. Sheila, how are you? Sheila, always coming on here with some great product suggestions. Thank you so much. You said moisture and deep conditioner can help. Yes, deep conditioning is important and also sealing. Because our hair can be more porous, the moisture comes in really well, but we have to make sure that we seal it too. And I know that twists and styles like that can help keep the moisture in more so than wash and go. I'm just a wash and go girl. I am going to try some other styles, but that is just the easiest and most convenient. But I do know that it can, my hair can tend to get more tangled that way. So thank you for that tip, Sheila. Bridget, he stopped dyeing it. Yay! That's awesome. Yes, it's biotin. Yeah, Sheila, you come on here with and this is, you guys say you're learning from me. I'm learning from you too. You guys, you, Sheila, Sandra also gives some great tips. She also told me on one of my videos recently that she found a website called Luna Wigs that are offering some better options for, like, if you're into wigs or extensions for gray hair. So that's something to check out. So you guys also help me too. I learn a lot from you. Um, and then I think what's so awesome about this community is just knowing that you're not alone. If you're dealing with thinning, anybody who watches this afterwards, you can just look at this, the comment section, the chat section, and realize how many are dealing with frizziness. Sheila, what was your biggest difference that you noticed between your gray hair and your pigmented hair? And are you fully transitioned now, Sheila, or are you still in the midst of growing your hair out? I forget. But yeah, guys, you're not alone with the thinning. And if you go back to the beginning of this live, you'll see the things that I mentioned that contribute to that feeling that the hair is thinner and drier. It is changing. Stacy, you practically live in twist and braided styles because if you leave your hair out, that is where the frizz says, "Hey, I'm here." I, it's so funny how you really have to know your hair, because Stacy, I find the opposite for myself. If my hair is, well, if I keep it in twist, I don't think it'll be frizzy, but my hair, it looks full now. I don't know if you guys would think that I have volume. Maybe not right now. I just put some styler in my hair, so it's a little bit flat, but I find it very difficult when I put my hair in twists. I see people who have these beautiful twists that just hang nicely. I could literally maybe put my hair in 6 twists and they would be like these little larva looking caterpillar twists. So as much as I would love to wear my hair in twists, I'd probably have to add some hair to it to get it to look the way I would like. But I find that when my hair's in a wash and go, that's when frizz goes away. So you have to know your own hair. Shirley, you said the gray hair is very dry and has a mind of its own. Yes. And when our hair is gray and natural, then I think we have double the issue with dryness. And that's why it's important for us, like you said, to deep condition. Hot oil treatments can be helpful. Also, massage. I did not realize how much massaging my scalp is important for bringing up the oils naturally that are on my scalp. And something else that I heard is inverting your head upside down. That also helps to bring the circulation to your scalp, feeding it the blood and things that it needs to grow. You said it's also more coily. You have an inch of brown on some of the ends. So you're almost there. And it's interesting, Sheila, you said it's more coily because Green Beauty had said that some people might have a looser curl pattern when they go gray than before. I also find maybe this front section right here is a little bit looser, but everywhere else seems to be about the same. And let me tell you something else about gray hair that I have had to learn to accept is a certain amount of yellow. Like even right now, this part, you see how it is so bright. It's so easy to get this white part of my hair bright with purple shampoo or kaolin clay. But the salt and pepper hair is the hardest to get that yellow tinge off. And I realized that, I don't know if Natural Platinum told me this or I was researching that not all hair becomes white or gray. Sometimes it it has to gradually fade from the pigment to not having a pigment. And because of that, we'll see gray. So I'm just learning to just embrace my blonde tips that I have sometimes. The sun can do it to us, our diet, so many things affect it. Stacy, you said you were just about to say you have areas of yellow. And that's interesting. Stacy, let me see. You said that you're since September. So it's funny because there's some people, I interviewed Khadijah. She didn't have any issues with yellow. I don't think she said that she did. And then there are some people during the grown braid or growing out process, they don't have any yellow issues, but once it's all gone, that was me. I don't remember having yellow. I just had grown braid. I had black, red, brown, but I didn't start dealing with the yellow until recently when all my colored ends were cut off. Sandra, you're trying to deal with the yellow, but you still love it. You don't let the sun hit your hair. That's a good point. And it's hard for me because the wash and go so easy and I could wear it all year round. But, wearing a hat or a head wrap or something like that might be helpful. And I'm like, you know what? If I don't feel like doing that, then I'm just going to have to accept that I'm going to have yellow ends. And it is what it is, So at the end of the day, I'm going to start wrapping up, guys. I am realizing that learning about gray hair is important. It is different than your pigmented hair. You're not imagining things if you feel your hair is thinner, drier. And there are practical things that we can do to help: deep conditioning, hot oil treatments, the styles that we decide to style our hair. But at the end of the day, we have to come to a point of acceptance to what our hair is and remembering that we're more than hair and to apply that love, right? So like I said on my IG, I am doing a 30-day self-love challenge for this month. And today is day 4. And it's been helping a lot with learning how to talk to myself. When you're on a gray hair journey, I could give you an example. If you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I hate this yellow, or I hate my roots, and you're saying that kind of talk to yourself, that can make the journey more difficult. But if you say things like, I'm willing to be patient for my hair to grow out, I'm willing to accept that there's going to be some yellow in my hair, those are things that can make your journey a lot smoother. And it could help, your insides too. So, please show yourself compassion, show yourself patience. It will take longer than you think, and that's okay. And we can be thankful for this gray hair journey because it teaches us patience. It teaches us our hair. We learn our hair. You never stop learning. You thought you knew your hair, and your gray hair will teach you. You don't know about me yet. So you'll get used to that new normal. Cheer yourself on that you made the decision to fully embrace your silver crown and look for the gifts that it gives you. All those things can help you to have an abundant mindset. And just earlier today, I was talking with someone who said that their gray hair has given them more confidence because you feel more authentic, you feel more comfortable in your own skin. So that is always my hope, to encourage and inspire you to love yourself more, treat yourself with more compassion on whatever journey it is that you're on. And so I thank all of you. I don't remember all of your names: Zion, Portia, Marjorie, Stacy, Bridget, Star, and anyone else that I missed. Thank you so much for joining me on today's live. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I believe next week I'm doing a live. Usually the last week of the month, there's another Silver Sister interview that I have for you guys to watch. So you can learn about another person's experience and the advice that they have. I thank you for all you guys teach me. And thank you for this platform that you allow me to share my story. And again, I appreciate all of you. So I hope you have a compassionate rest of your week. And let me know in the comments what you enjoyed most about today's live. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. You're most welcome. Thank you.